You're listening to the City World Radio Network, high-definition digital radio broadcasting from the city to the world. www.cityworldradio.com.
Oh, we don't have the clapper anymore? No more. Okay. Oh, we're live? I thought we were going to start with the music, no? Oh, but with our music. All right. Well, we're live, so we've been away. So anyway, happy Monday, everybody. This is the Jazzy Joy Keeping It Real show, Jazzy Joy and Company. I'm here in the studio, but I'm joined by the one and only Mindset Bro T-Mac, Tom McKinney, all the way from North Carolina. He's my co-executive producer and co-host, so we'll be joined by him. So, hello, Tom.
Hey, hello. Welcome back. I'm glad we're
good to be back,
in
huh?
the mix of things.
Yeah, we're starting off kind of shady,
so much going on.
We're starting off kind of shady, but that's to be expected because we've been away for a while, so. Got to get back into the groove, and it's live, and that's how it goes with live radio.
How it goes.
But, yeah, it's really great to be back, and I'm really excited about what we have lined up for the year. And 2019 is going to be a great year, wouldn't you say?
On and popping.
Yeah, right? And we have a lot of interesting guests and topics, and I'll let Tom tell you about what's in store for the rest of the year. So,
well, I thank you, Jazzy, and glad to be back with you in our familiar format here.
And you have so many names, I don't know what to call you. I usually call you McKinney, but T-Mac.
You can call me whatever you want to, just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay.
That's an old one. I know.
Yeah. Well, you're dating yourself.
Dating
with
myself.
that
I know.
one.
Well, whatever you feel comfortable in calling me. By the time this season gets into full-fledged force, you might be calling me a few censored names, right? Because I think that I'm not gonna have the kid gloves on this season that I had that I was told to wear last season.
Uh-oh.
And by that I mean
the gloves are going on.
By that I mean this year there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of different perspectives about things. I think that what our goal is from my vantage point is like we want to analyze the different mindsets that contribute to our human journey. We want to look at things that we've been indoctrinated to believe, and kind of analyze the validity of them. The things like relationships, religion, politics, especially politics now.
Right. With this climate. Mm-hmm.
Our different cultural identities, huh?
Yeah.
Our different cultural identities, gender expectations. What is a real man? All right.
Yeah, and I know that hits you. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in relation to how women look at it. Because you guys always have expectations of us that we may not have of ourselves. Well, that's a topic that we'll get into during the course of the season. How do you define success and failure? We also have to, stay true to our agenda from last season, and that was the housing crisis, gentrification, how that's impacting our communities. What is the economic agenda for those things that's propelling those kinds of that kind of gentrification? The situation with the infamous public housing, NYCHA.
That story goes on and on. Yeah,
on and on. It's been going on all for the last year or so. It has reached the boiling point. It had a minor eruption, and now things are things that they're trying to stabilize it in questionable ways. And I say questionable because it's questionable to me. I have this conspiracy theory mindset, so bear with me. But actually, like I said initially, we want to analyze, the different attitudes, perspectives that we have as a human culture, as different ethnic cultures, how we see each other, how we see ourselves, how we see our place in this society, and we want to talk about those things, because oftentimes those things are taken for granted, or perspectives are taken for granted. We think that people see things the way we see them. I know I tend to do that, or have done that for many years.
Many of us do.
So that's basically.
Well, that's what we're about. Season. Yeah.
And I know you a lot of times you inject little entertaining features like some musical interludes and.
Well, like a lot of local artists around that people don't know about, and give them a little bit of exposure. Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's. I think that's.
Like, for example, I just saw Sangra Terra, I think. Sangra Terra. It was with Leslie Spalding was on this show. His group is called Sangra Terra. They were at SOBs, and I mean, what a show. I mean, he really, really puts on a good show, and a lot of people don't know, but they would have a great time. So this is why I like to feature local artists. I mean, he goes all over, he performs all over, but I mean, he is local, and a lot of people don't know about him. Many people do, but some people don't know. So I like to give exposure to up-and-coming artists.
And for those of you who don't know, let me give you a little background about Jazzy, right? Our girl Jazzy. She is very accomplished in the international community. What I mean by that is she has delved in all different constructs in terms of language and culture. She has a very diverse background in different cultural realities and different cultural mores and norms and customs, traditions.
Because I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends from all over the world. I teach English as a second language, so I come in contact with students from all over the world. So, yeah.
And I've been very much and delightfully so enlightened by her broad perspective. I've learned quite a bit about other cultures, or how not to assume that my cultural perspective is applicable in all other cultures. And I get a lot of that from our queen here, right? Jazzy Joy. she also has a perspective about male-female stuff, especially about males we will be talking about during the course of this season.
You know about that.
Her and I at times have conversations about role expectations in terms of males and females and what our biological inclinations are, as opposed to what the reality is, and how women, in some instances, acquiesce to what males want them to do. That's part of. I won't get too much into it.
Yeah, but also I just want to say that I've learned a lot too, and had a different perspective in terms of discussing this with you. So I'm learning too, and my views have changed slightly. But
yeah, okay, slightly, she said. Okay, well,
I'm making progress.
What more can one expect?
Yeah.
Your views are the sum total of your experiences. Mine are the sum total of mine. So I can't expect you to see the world as I do. I would just hope that you understand the way I see it, as I try to understand the way you see it.
Yeah, it's like so we don't have understanding. I try to understand.
Right.
Yeah. And
so we don't have conflict and not judge.
And this is what this show is all about. I mean, we want to bring different views and try to understand that people don't see things necessarily the way we do, and because we see it one way is not necessarily what we think is the only way or the right way or the best way. So this is what we're trying to do. And bringing guests, talking about different issues and topics. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're going to also be doing some live streaming, so that's another thing that's going to be coming up when we have our guests on the show. We'll do some live streaming, and you can watch it on Facebook Live, and some other avenues that we have. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's a good thing. So it's really great to be back, and hopefully we have a lot going on in the future. A lot to look forward to.
Well, when we talk about future, right now, and I think maybe we might want to touch on this a little bit this evening, is the current political state in this, in this country.
There's just so
what
much
is going on with politics. What is politics? What is politics? You're the linguistic.
My views on
you're
politics.
The linguistic expert. What does politics? What does the word politics really mean?
Well, you're gonna ask me.
No, I'm not.
I mean, you're gonna ask me what does it really mean? I mean, I only go by what it is. I mean, what I see, what it is. About government, about running the country, controlling the people. I mean, that's how I see politics. I mean, but I don't understand your question.
Well, I'm saying, the definition of politics is often, as you're saying, I think you're talking about the actual reality of it. I'm thinking essentially, politics is the mechanism through which we're governed. All right.
Right.
And that mechanism is what is the point of that mechanism? That's what what is governance? The point of the mechanism is it to facilitate control within a society that benefits certain segments of that society.
Well, the whole thing is about governing and controlling. That's
to what end? Control to what end, though? Control to facilitate what?
Well, they're concerned with controlling and winning over government. I mean, of the people. I mean, we're supposed to be governed by the people for the people, but I don't know if that I don't see it that way though.
That's a myth. That's a myth to me.
Yeah, it's not by the people.
Yeah, it's governed of the people. We're governing the people, right? And a lot of times I'll watch or read about historical events such as the knights and kings and things that happen, and I try to watch the evolution of governance, right?
Right.
And seeing how it seemed always to control the masses for the benefit of a few.
Yes.
And that's becoming like crystal clear to me in this particular administration, along with all what I consider to be some significant manipulations. And it's, we sit back and we just allow it. Now, I don't want people to think I'm advocating revolution, because I don't want them to come and drag me out of here. Right? Big Brother's looking at everything, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not advocating revolution in the sense of a material, an armed insurrection or military kind of situation, right? But I think revolution can come in the changing of mindsets, in the changing of perspectives. I mean, when I look at how society works, especially in where there's a certain few that are benefited from all the societal structure, and what I see is like a pyramid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the pyramid is sustained by the bottom, right?
Right.
The bottom of the pyramid is where the strength is, and what perpetuates that pyramid. But so how come the top of it controls everything that's going on?
Right.
When it's the bottom that has is where the strength lies, and from the bottom up, the strength is from the bottom up, not from the top down.
But I think a lot of us are waking up. I mean, we bought into it and we allowed it to happen. I'm saying the people allowed this to happen. But I think a lot of people are waking up and they're realizing that this is the case and it's not something that we want. So I don't know if there's anything we can do about it. Actually,
that's a fair commentary. But we just have to go.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think that you can do about it? And anyone who has a suggestion, by the way, if they can figure out what can you do about the 1% that is controlling everything, what is it that we can do? Actually, you can call in at 646-690-2976. That's 646-690-2976, because I don't have the answer. I mean, I don't know. It's been going on like this for many, many years. I don't know what it is that we can do.
Well,
but marching
like I said,
protesting is just not really. I don't know.
You march till your feet get sore, and then you still got to go pay your bills and be responsible to, or subjected to the unfairness of the economic structure as it is. But it's one of the things I think you said is we've been taught, or we've been conditioned, or at least you alluded to, that we've been taught or conditioned to fall in line, right? And I know we've had conversations about this before. I think we talked about the educational system, right? How it supports the politics, or the agenda of the politicians. Okay, you got to go to college, and you want to in order to get a good job, you got to spend all this money and go to college. And then when you go to college, it's supposed to automatically offer you the rewards of the society.
And I mean, I think once upon a time, it did work. I mean, that was the case. You were in a better position and better shape if you had a college education. But times have changed, and that is definitely not the case right now when you see people with PhD degrees applying for food stamps. So that is definitely not the case today. But I think it was once upon a time.
Yeah, once upon a time,
You had a lot more options, and if you had more education. But this is simply not true right now.
I think what you said is epic. I think the key is it's once upon a time,
Right.
Once upon a time, I was a teenager, and once upon a time, with stuff changed, and I had to change.
You remember that long?
Well, it wasn't that long ago. Come on, Jazzy.
You still have memory? Oh, no, I'm just
kidding. Yeah, I still have memory cells from them days. So, once upon a time, I was a teenager, and I had to change along with time as it changed, as realities changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our political structure has been the same since the founding fathers, right?
Right.
From what I've gathered in terms of the electoral college and all that madness, right?
Right.
And we see the fallacy of it, but we still go along with it.
And I think that's what they're trying to change, but I don't know if they'll ever change it. But there are some politicians
when you said they're being who?
Well, I mean, there are some
because
politicians
if we can't wait for them to change it. We have to be instrumental in changing it.
Exactly, but there are some politicians now advocating to get rid of the electoral college. I mean, because if you don't win by popular vote, but that just tells you right there is that they didn't want it in the hands of the people. Because this way, if you win the popular votes, then it's actually the people having the power.
It's accurate.
Right, it's accurate right. Because this says, okay, the majority of the people voted for this person, so this is who they want. I think at this time we're going to take a little musical break, and then we'll come back. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Jazzy Joy and Company show with Jazzy Joy and my co-host Tom McKinney, and we'll be right back.
Trying so hard to survive. Back when I didn't have
All right, we're back live, the Jazzy Joy Company show. So, sorry I brought in the music kind of like abruptly, but anyway, this is live and things happen. So, where were we?
Well, we're talking about the electoral college and
Yeah,
the
the
vote,
fact that it's not
the
what the
one vote,
people.
the popular vote.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
it's
because they.
basically about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying they put it in place because they didn't want to leave it totally up to the people to decide who, the majority, like decide who would win.
Yeah, and there was a reason for that back in the day. It's because of the size of the size of the different like what they would call states back then or whatever. But it was about balancing, making it fair
Right.
and equitable back then.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
But as the country grew and it expanded and it became a different place, we still use this antiquated system.
Yeah.
And the antiquated system is not really relative to today's time.
That's right.
I mean, you have different states with different sized populations that have more electoral votes, and the smaller states have more, maybe one smaller state might have one more than one than a larger state, and and then it's whoever sometimes your vote gets lost in the majority.
Right. But I guess they didn't want, like, if you had more people in your state, that you would automatically have more votes. So I guess they didn't, as you said, they wanted to balance it out more. And I think that might still be the case because
right, but it's not practical anymore from the discussion of the political authorities that scientists or whatever that I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's not a practical system anymore. All right, some of the politicians themselves say that. All right, it's not. I don't know why somebody doesn't submit a referendum or something to
Well, I think they're
to
working
change
on it because quite a few politicians are saying that they don't think this system of electoral votes, really is appropriate for now. So maybe they're going to do
But I
something.
think.
But we should, as you
What?
said, that we should demand a change, like not just wait
Well,
and leave it for them.
And I brought that up just because it illustrates how our power as the people, how the power that we have is being diminished, right? And is it really a true representation of what we the people want, right? And even some of the I might disagree with a reason that somebody might vote for somebody different than I do, but if it's one vote per person and per qualified person, then the chips will fall where they will. But at least it's an accurate representation, all right? Rather than something that can be screwed in a way that will benefit one, like they say, certain that I've heard them say, like some elections were stolen and this one was stolen, and
Right.
like they say, Hillary had more popular votes, So I mean, so what do you? It just doesn't. If it doesn't make sense, why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Why are we? And I think it's all about a strategy of dominance, all right?
Right.
And I think that term is very, it rings very clear to me about a lot of things that happen, as opposed to the haves and have-nots, or the haves and have-less.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what what it's all about.
Yeah, and it's some things that we are programmed from the time that we were born, right? This is what this is what that is, and we take tests. We go to school. We take tests. We take we have exams to reinforce that, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I think society needs certain parameters, to function.
Right.
But it seems to me that there needs to be a more level playing field, within those parameters. If those parameters apply to me, then why don't they apply to everyone? Like the criminal justice system, if I have the economic wherewithal, then I can get lawyers. I can fight a case, right?
Right.
But it's based on my how affluent I am, whether I get justice or not.
Right. That's what it is.
How is that acceptable?
How is that justice?
Yeah. I mean, it's ludicrous to me, but I mean, it works for those in power, and it sustains those in power, and they have the power to make sure that they control the media, they control the publishing, they control the print newspapers and stuff. They control the educational input. So they control our mindsets. They control our behavior through indoctrination.
And many of us are not aware of it. Some of us are becoming aware, but we don't even realize that this is what's happening or this is what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's very powerful. I mean, the media is very powerful because what you see, I mean, this is I go off on a tangent, but I'm just going to give an example. This is why so many people are afraid of the black man, because how media portrays, like he's a scary thing. It's like when you see a lot of people, when they see a black man, he's a criminal. They look at it because this is what's put into your mind, what you see all the time on TV. And
to that point, did you see the state of the State of the Union, the State of the country, whatever you call it?
State of the Union. With the
that?
president. Yeah. I did.
Do you know what struck me as odd? When they were talking about criminal justice, right?
Right.
And they said, there was two people that, their sentences were commuted, right? Both of them were black.
And why did that strike?
What is the insidious message? What is the insidious message there?
Because both of them were black?
Yeah, and they didn't say that they weren't guilty. They said that their sentences were commuted because the sentences were unfair. But they did say, but they did say that they participated in criminal activity.
But maybe it was just that it was unfair. Maybe they were.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Maybe they were guilty, but it just was the sentence was unfair.
Yeah, but why did both of them have to be black? I have a problem with that, right?
Well, there are a lot of white people in jail too, but in prison.
Right. And he could have commuted some of the white people's sentence, but it was just
But maybe because with them it's unfair. Maybe with the other ones, other races or ethnicities, that's not the case.
I think the justification for that was because the sentencing is overwhelmingly more unfair to people of color.
Yeah,
than it is
so
to
that's
other
not
segments.
hard to understand.
But I just think it for a layman or someone who is not that does not astute enough or perspective does not allow that kind of analysis, right? To say they let them go.
It looks like because they're criminals. Yeah, they're the ones mostly criminals. And this is how we look at it. Like when you think of a criminal, you think of a black man. Even black people.
And we're going to commute the sentences of the criminals because they were we're going to give them a second chance and give them a break.
They were wrongly. Yeah, they didn't have the same break as others.
It just it seemed insidious about that to me. I don't know, maybe it's my own my own stuff.
Well, not for me. I mean, I totally understand it, but the fact that they have to be. But I mean, I understand why they're black. But I'm saying I understand what you're saying because it's putting in front of your face these are criminals, and that's all you see as criminals. So the police officers and everyone approach the black man as a criminal. That's it.
Because, even though we're commuting their sentences because it was unfair, the sentencing was unfair.
Right, but they were
but the fact
criminals.
still remains that they were criminals.
Right, and so it's still putting in front of you.
And Trump's going to talk about welcome home. I mean, and we applaud. Oh yeah, that's nice. But there's a message there, right? There's a perception that's being fueled, insidiously,
mm-hmm.
all right? And I have a little problem with that, and I don't know if other people do or not. I mean, maybe I'm being a little too sensitive, right?
Well, I don't know if you're the only one who views it that way, but I think many people probably didn't. They were probably cheering
I haven't heard any
saying,
conversation about it. I've been watching CNN
it's a great thing.
Yeah, CNN and Van Jones and all of the
it's such a
the black
wonderful
commentators
thing.
like, what am I missing?
But the media is very powerful in how they slant the news and how they want to depict people, all of the media and over the years, and you just fear. I mean, people have fear, actual fear.
And what they did, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. Even if my sentence was commuted, I wouldn't have done that, right? Because first of all, they announced what they did. They said, it was a drug dealing, and but it wasn't that.
I guess they were so happy the sentence was commuted that they didn't think about.
But they turned themselves around in prison, right? They corrected. They became rehabilitated, actually, for lack of another word, right?
Maybe they're proud.
They became real. It wasn't. And that's a good thing. I mean, I'm not saying that's not good for them.
I mean, that's why they did it, because they're proud of what they've accomplished, I guess, and they're happy for the fact that their sentence was, the sentence was commuted. And so they're not thinking as deeply as you are.
I think all that's good. I just didn't like the picture that was portrayed, in that particular forum. Right. That particular forum where you're talking about the state of the nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're showing all different ethnic. One of the few references you can make to black people, right? Is that they had the crimes that they committed, they got over sentenced for.
Yeah,
now that
you mention it and you're analyzing it, it makes a lot of sense that we shouldn't look at it as a positive thing. I don't think it had a place in the State of the Union, but I think that's the only thing that he could say. Well, see, look, black folks, I'm doing something.
I'm doing something for you, criminal ass black folks.
Right, exactly. Like, you want to say that I don't care? Well, see, this shows I care.
Look what I'm doing. You didn't say
to
about educational reform or equal access to opportunity or, other situations that involve people of different ethnicities or of color. The thing that you made reference to was that you commuted the sentences of two black people who were criminals. So the fact that they were criminals is still valid. Right?
But
they were criminals.
But you see, this is what we do. We get subliminal. Like, we don't realize there are a lot of subliminal messages in what we see and hear, and that's like a subliminal message.
Oh, that was that thing. I was. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put it on Facebook and see what responses I get. All right.
But I'm sure
Yeah,
a lot of blacks didn't see it that way. I
yeah,
mean,
and
that's a
they
little
probably
bit too
won't.
deep. I mean, that you really
And they probably,
analyze.
yeah, I mean, because when I saw them and they were happy, right? She was crying and happy. It was almost like I was watching Django, right? And the master gave him some, let him come to the table.
Mm.
Master said, "Come on," and
Mm-hmm. Is that
it was just
was
like,
one of them the one that the Kim Kardashian was instrumental?
Oh, I don't.
No, because that one
Oh yeah,
was she
maybe so.
Yeah, I don't know because she was
I
instrumental.
think the woman might have been.
Yeah, in getting a woman out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that woman might have been. Right? But, yeah, I know Kardashian
And that's
had some
another
kind
thing, like, that's a whole nother story, but that whole thing about her being involved in everything that it has to involve criminals or people in prison. As you said,
and I'm saying that hey, I'm just using this example to illustrate how the political machine works, right?
Mm-hmm.
The mind, conditioning, the mind, how they just seep into our psyche, right?
Right.
They might propel it something by something that seems to be positive on the surface, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But has insidious and deframing consequences psychologically.
Right.
Deframing the consequences psychologically, right? I just I become like kind of conscious of that ever since I stopped believing in Santa Claus.
I know how disappointing that was for you to find out.
Oh, it was, but it was like, but it just, when I think back on it in retrospect, it just illustrates to me how we are told certain lies, out and out lies, right?
Right.
In the guise of something good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But still is a lie, and it's still, it erodes the confidence. Once you find out it's a lie, then you have to think about, well, why they lie to me?
Mm-hmm.
As you evolve. What else did they tell me that was not true?
Now, what else is like a big scandal in the political is the governor of Virginia.
Oh, don't say that.
What's his name? And again,
Sambo.
No,
that's what he dressed up as, Sambo. Huh?
No, but I mean his name is Ralph Northam.
No, I'm just saying because he wanted to put blackface on and be Sambo.
And then the lieutenant governor is mixed up in some kind of sex scandal. So I mean, it's just really a lot going on.
But I think they're two distinctly different things. Right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to justify one or the other because the sex scandal is just as appalling as any other. But I think the thing about the governor's situation, right, was he's in politics. It's part of politics. How can he didn't really see too much wrong with it. I mean, because it was, I was young and we were doing, it was just, I didn't, because for him to say initially that, I don't know which one I was, right?
And then he said he was neither one, so I don't know what's interesting.
But he initially said he don't remember which one he was. Like, that made it okay, all right?
Well, Gayle King from Channel 2 News, I don't know if you've seen her interview with him. And I mean, she said, but how, this was 1980, because he kept saying he didn't know how sensitive it was, and she said, but this was 1984. This wasn't 1960 or 1950 something. So how could you say you didn't know?
you have people now. I've met people down here, like in North Carolina, that have been, and they're well-meaning people. I mean, they're not like overtly racist. It's just that they have they just have a lack of understanding of what it is another culture experiences. So they come, to them they feel like, well, I don't know. I didn't know. It was like, I didn't think there was nothing wrong with it, because to them it's not offensive, all right?
Mm-hmm.
To them it's just like joke Halloween, dress up, like his wife had to stop him from moonwalking
Because which he admitted he can't do it. I mean, with Gayle King, he admitted that he can't moonwalk. Yeah.
But why is he even talking about moonwalking? That was okay. He was impersonating Michael Jackson, and a reporter, and he said, I didn't put as much shoe polish on because it was hard to get off, right?
But how I'm saying, but how you gonna put shoe polish to look like Michael Jackson, and what, you have Spots? I mean, like
you really need much shoe polish to look like Michael Jackson. But
you can't just put a little bit. You have to cover your whole face. I mean, I don't understand what he meant by a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know. That was part of it. That's all part of the absurdity of the whole thing. But
my thing is, what is your opinion? What do you think that he would be better off trying to? He should stay governor, because he said he thinks he can make more of a difference. He can start, the conversation.
Well, you know what? To be quite honest, to be very honest with you, I don't think his leaving government achieves anything.
Right.
It might send a message out. It might send a message to say we're not condoning this. But we already know this racism is a part of this government, all right? It's a part of this structure. So, you're gonna punish him, but is that changing the systemic racism in the culture? I mean, in the society?
No.
He's emblematic of what's wrong in the society, all right?
And he maintains he can make a difference.
We can be a constant reminder. Take him out, he'll go away, and we forget about it, right?
Right, but if he stays there,
keep him there, he's a constant reminder.
But he feels, or he maintains, he can make a difference by staying in government, and start taking more of a look at and start addressing these issues, is what he's saying, that he could do more.
And if he's sincere about not knowing, and then he made a mistake, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've made mistakes in my life, but you don't hold me accountable for the rest of my life for the mistake.
And even though he was 25, he wasn't. He was already in medical school. He wasn't. He wasn't a teenager, but still, he was young.
I've made mistakes as an adult.
Yeah.
I have gone back and said, well, okay, they were mistakes. I regret that. And, I'll try to redeem myself by living a better existence, right?
Because he said he went to high school.
I'll try to atone for my mistakes by my behavior becoming more productive and positive.
And that's what he's trying to say, that he wants the opportunity to do. He went to school. He said he went to junior high school and high school, I think, with blacks. He had black friends. And so,
that don't matter.
But Gayle King asked him, then you didn't, think this was a sensitive issue? No, he said he didn't know. So I don't, yeah. But
and if you talk to a number of white people who have been somewhat isolated economically and socially,
mm-hmm.
And who have been indoctrinated by racism, they may not know. We know because it affects us emotionally. We know, because we're the recipients of it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a different feeling when you just like when you've been indoctrinated. So that's all part of a fun and game dynamic. It's not. It doesn't impact you the same way.
Right.
So so what are you telling me? I should never dress up as a woman right? If, in a costume, if I'm Halloween or something, if I'm going, it would be wrong for me to dress up as portray a woman.
Well,
No, really.
it might be questionable.
I know there's
Some people might have some questions.
But there may be some people who don't,
But
we both know that it shouldn't have any questions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that matters, actually.
Right. But I think that it's not going to do any good for him to step down. I mean, he probably can do if he says he's going to try to do what he said he's going to do. He would do more good staying there as the governor.
It might massage certain people's feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what it will do to the reality of white privilege and the whole, because what we're so rooted in retribution, right, and punishment. We want to get out of there.
Yeah, the first reaction was, "Oh, he's got
and
to go."
We're not even we're not even giving it another look, another take. I don't know, racist bastard. It might be, but I mean, you got a lot of people in there that are probably of that same mindset, and it's about flushing it out. Now that it came out, it could be of some service because it was it was a lesson for him and other white folks who might think like him, or other people of other cultures that might think ways who buy into stereotypes.
That's true.
I think it's a positive lesson.
Mm-hmm.
The other stereotype that well, we don't have much time left.
Yeah, we're just about but. Mm-hmm.
The other stereotype that I was
we have another show coming on, right? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Because in a day or two, we're gonna tell people how much we love them by giving them a box of chocolate candy and a card. That means we love them for the whole year.
Right. Well, that's a whole nother subject. That
I know.
With Valentine's Day coming up, absolutely. I mean, it's one day that you show somebody you love them. It's all commercial, so. It's all right in this conceptually, but now the greedy but it's actually
capitalists have taken it over.
They're
gonna give you a card for your mama, your daddy, your
exactly.
sister, your
but
brother.
we're gonna have to leave it there because it's 6:55 and we gotta get out of it. We gotta go. So it was great being back, and thanks for tuning in to the Jazzy Joy Keeping It Real show. And until Monday next week, have a great week. Peace.
All right, and everybody have peace.
Yo, what's going on? Y'all listening to Sky's Crescent Radio, and here's what's coming up. On the